Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match on the map, The Path to Valhalla. Let's go ahead and start by introducing our players here in the northeast section, starting with the rearguard air slot of Team 1. We have Bastole Monidas. That's a very long name. First land as an Aeon in white. To his south, we have the Crimson Seraphim player, of Will-O-Wisp going first air. South of them, we have Mr. Female Dog going first air in blue as UBF. In the middle land slot, we have Gentle Mate going first land in navy blue as an Aeon. Next, in a little bit north of them, we have Sai Zolan going first air as a Seraphim in yellow. Last but not least, for Team 1, we have Muistol. Answer down in the comments if I said that name wrong. In royal purple, going first land, most likely second air, again as an Aeon. That's Team 1. Let's go ahead and introduce Team 2, starting with the rearguard air slot. We have Kazafli going first air as a Seraphim in teal. East of them, we have Storm Shadow going first land as a Seraphim, most likely second air. That tends to be the meta on this map. In the middle, we have Ammon Ra going first land in orange as a Cybran as well. Northwest of them, we have Budweiser Bliss going first air in tan as a Cybran as well. Lots of Cybrans this team. We have the Calm of Artifacts going first land in red. And last but not least, for Team 2, down here in the bottom, we have OGW PR Outreach going first land, second land, and probably land all day. Sitting is in the middle land slot in gray. So racial disparities for both teams. For Team 1, we have 3 Aeon, a UEF, and 2 Seraphim, so they're missing the Aeon tech in their toolbox. And for Team 2, down here in the bottom, we have 5 Cybran, count it, 5 Cybran, and a Seraphim. They're missing the UEF and Aeon tech. It's very rare that I see 5 out of the 6 players play one faction. Had the air player of Kazalif went Seraphim, that would have been an entire Seraph. Cybran, wow. It would have been a whole Cybran team, which is, again, very rare to see. We have a upgrade going down for the Calm of OGW in his main base, getting that early tech advantage up. For Reclaim on this map, we have just a handful for all of our players to come grab. Again, there's not a whole lot in terms of mass. There's a huge amount of mass extractors down here in the middle. And you might be thinking to yourself, if you haven't seen this map before, this map kind of looks familiar. It's pretty much based on Settons, except it's 10v10, so like a fourth of the size. And there's 6 players instead of 4, and the middle causeway is a little wider, and the ponds are a little smaller. But that's about it. So you can expect very similar styles of play. You're going to have, again, fights in the northern and southern ponds. We have a torpedo going down for Storm Shadow. That'll help with some early aggression and especially defense against those early subs that might come out from these players here in the north. The Calm of Gentle is on an upgrade for T2 as well, so following his mirror here in the middle causeway. We do have the Calm of Ammon-Ra claiming all of these mass extractors for himself. Again, Team 1's land units don't have a whole lot of avenues of attack. You know, they have the middle slot, and then they can kind of come around either this way or this way. So you got to be aware of any flanking maneuvers going down here in the middle causeway. We have some of these fervors and these auroras trying to, again, make that flanking maneuver. And that artillery might sit there and try to take out all of those extractors. At least that's what I would try to do, but he might not have vision on those. And we have some Mantis out here from the Calm of OGW trying to hold the middle. He notices there is some action going down here on this northwestern side. Decides to send his forces to intercept. In terms of Navy, build-up going down for both of these naval players here in the northern pond and in the southern pond. We have, again, that torpedo is still on an upgrade. We have that Team 1 sub, like I mentioned, is going to happen earlier. And a frigate out from Team 2 as well. So Team 1 leading the Navy in terms of infrastructure. They have 2 players versus Team 2's 1. That flanking maneuver is still going on. That Aurora is probably not going to get anywhere, especially if it stops moving. Tries to take out that mass extractor and then fails. Lots of mass being transferred to the player of OGW. Probably going after, T2PD in the middle, trying to secure that middle causeway, as well as 7 mechs that are still online. Getting a shield online as well, then as another Cerberus just to help secure it. And that Cerberus, again, just to illustrate, can cover a wide... Oh, that's the wrong player. Apologies. Can cover a huge area, pretty much almost to the comm of Gentle right there. I do like the little notes that you can leave on the battlefield. We have some communications and some tactics being displayed, trying to say to hunker down in this slot over here. It does fan out a little bit, so it's not a huge concern for the northern team as of right now. But eventually, when there's build up here in the middle, that position will get overrun here very quickly. A T2PD has been built, those Oblivions, but the shield is going to last long enough, and there's now a third comm in the middle for Team 2, so half of their comms are located in the middle. A couple strat bombers, and that's a not a great time for Team 2. But we're only at 6 minutes, so strats are not even on the cards as of right now. Another torpedo upgrade for the northern pond player of Artifacts. Naval build-up, but just kind of hanging out, not willing to push, unlike his compatriots here in the north. And it looks like the comm of Storm Shadow has pretty much moved to the central island, kind of hiding out next to these 2 enemy mechs. We have orders out from these naval units to just see if there's anything down here hiding. Another naval factory is going down, start to produce those naval units. We have an attempted run-by from these fervors. One that's gotten 2 vets so far, and one's got 1 vet. One dies. The other one is still alive, trying to make it into the back line, but I don't think that's going to go anywhere, honestly. Those little hunters are going to kill that very quickly. We have artillery. Oh, we have a missile launcher already made and being used. Looks like it's going after the resourcing options all the way in the back line. What's it going for? Just that mechs? Oh, no, it's still going. All the way down to that group of mechs is down. Ooh, that was close, but does not claim the kill. That tactical missile defense is not really in the best position to defend against that missile. But now that, again, Team 1 is aware of that, they're going to put more down to help prevent that attack. I do like this splitting off to a different avenue of attack, trying to get more damage down. But there is a tactical missile defense already in play, and so that missile will most likely get shot down as it gets closer. You can see it gets shot. It does split, takes out 2 of the splits, takes out 1 more, and that's not enough damage to take out either of those mechs. So Team 1 is saved that economic damage. Speaking of which, for income, we have 320 or so for Team 2 and 270 for Team 1. So there was some economic damage dealt by that missile launcher earlier, but that is very easily recoverable, and that is amounted to about a 10k mass differential in favor of Team 2 in terms of total accrued. Do we have anything in the back line? We have T3 upgrade is underway. What about his opponent in the north? It's slightly behind in terms of upgrades, so Team 2 is going to get ASFs out first. However, as it turns out, Team 1 is more focused on getting early air control and is taking out the rest of... I'm going to say I cannot say his name right because of that X. Khalif? That X is throwing me off. Looks like there's some Team 1 units trying to push through. We have a bunch of these hunters trying to go around this bend right here. And these Mantis get in close, take out that Oblivion turret. The main defenses for Team 1 are starting to fall. Those TMD have fallen as well. The comm of Gentle trying to get a T2PD online, and those engineers probably will get it happening. Some of those engineers will probably go down, but it does come online. And now the comm's going to get into the action himself as well. It doesn't look like that's going to amount to a whole lot, especially with the assistance from the Zooey out from the western side of that causeway. Comm of Mr. Female Dog positioning himself to ensure that he covers any approach from this side of the map. And there's no potential run-bys or anything like that. The comm of Artifacts in the yellow, sub 4,000 hit points, being hit by a decent amount of these T2 torpedo bombers. He's gonna no, he's not gonna make it. He's gonna die in that water. That is going to be the first kill of the game. See, he gets a crucial rank in vet, gets some hit points back up. More torpedo bombers are coming in overhead. More torpedoes launching all the time. I don't think he's gonna make it. It lands onto the little cliffside. Ooh, but the rest of those frigates are going to take him out, and that is going to be a kill for Team 1, and that makes Team 2 lose a player, of course, because he's dead, and will give the advantage in terms of player count to Team 1, making it a 6v5 here. About the 11-minute mark, will blow up. Oh yeah, because this is a no-share game, so... Or maybe it could be a share until you die. That's usually the normal case. But all of that mass and reclaim is going to be scooped up, of course, by Team 2 and turned back into usable structures and enemy units. We have another comm almost dead for Team 2. OGW is a sub 1,000 hit points. Those Notha fighter bombers are not prioritized in the comm. That's definitely a misplay. Another bomb comes, lands, but does get the kill on that comm. And it now goes from a 6v5 to a 6v4 in favor of Team 1. So at the pretty much 11.5-minute mark, 2 of the players are now down in this game, both on Team 2. And all of that infrastructure goes up in smoke. Top Team 2 skilled. I mean, Team 1 does have Will-O-Wisp at a 2100, and then the next highest player is Sizian. Again, if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, please comment down below. Sometimes the way things are spelled, it confuses my English. I know English good. We do have a destroyer out, Valiant class, in the southern pond, out from Team 1. They're going to use that time that they have to reconquer the middle, or at least conquer the middle in this case, and assert their dominance over the map. It is good to push forward, especially claiming 8 mexes here in the middle. That's definitely priority number 1. You don't want Team 2 reestablishing that center position, especially because now Team 1 is winning the eco game by about 50 or so. I mean, total accrued is obviously a little skewed because of all the mass that has been reclaimed by those destroyed structures. Strat gonna come from Heelish. There's a spy plane overhead for Team 2. That strat bomber pulls back, notices that there are some ASF in the area. Well, I guess there's only 1 in this case. Decides I'm going to save that strategic bomber for later. I guess there's 2. Oh wait, hold on, I'm confused. Oh wait, Team 1's ASF died. Okay, the ASF are clear. Bomb coming in overhead, gonna do some economic damage. First bomb is dropped, gonna take out 2 mexes here. We have some ASF now on station trying to intercept that strat bomber. Strat bomber makes a turn. They're probably going to come for other... Oh, that bomb does not go off, unfortunately. That does go off the map. That reclaim will not be able to be grabbed up for Team 1. But unfortunately, I feel like that strat bomber could have just kept going south and taken out other economic structures. But there are some of these Corsairs taking out these economic structures, these mass extractors, as well as a bunch of Zeus, these Team 1 bombers coming in overhead, taking out more and more mass extractors, reducing that eco for Team 1. Vulnerable BP. Power gen? I don't know what BP means. Answer down in the comments if you know what BP means in reference to this. I mean, they're taking out more and more mexes, or at least they're trying to, but some ASF coming over here to help assist the air game for Team 2. And Team 1 notices that there are 2 air players, which is definitely the sensible decision because Team 1 is not going to push a whole lot. They're going to eco up because they are ahead, and so that's going to be their focus. Team 2 is going to say we need to be more aggressive and need to make more and more inroads into Team 1's bases and infrastructure. So definitely the right call, going 2 air players here in the south, and then devote 1 player to the water in the north and 1 player to the pond in the south. Again, more of these Corsairs coming overhead, taking anything and everything out that they can, trying to soften up defenses and economic structures for Team 1, specifically for the Navy Blue player of Gentle Mate. There's some more of this action going down here over the main naval factories for Team 1 here in the north. There is a destroyer out on the field, but looks like a lot of these frigates might actually be able to take out one of them, but the numbers are not favoring them, and no, they're not going to get it. It was close, but they aren't going to get that kill on that destroyer. We have another naval push, this time out from Team 1 against Team 2, once again in the southern pond. We have a bunch of destroyers here, and as well, actually from multiple factions, we have a Cooper, a torpedo boat, not a destroyer. That's a different logo. And we have 3 Valiant class. There is a Corsair cruiser in the back line, a Governor class. Going to be taking out a lot of these torpedo bombers. Would like to see these more tasked onto that cruiser, considering that's the only one in the water. The anti-air on these naval units are not really great, and hopefully the Cormorants, a lot of C's for the Cyberns, are going to focus down that cruiser, which they do, and they kill it. So that is all the anti-air, or these focused anti-air for Team 1. They'll be able to mop up the rest of the naval units here in the southern pond. Again, if you've been enjoying the cast so far, please like and comment down below. And if you haven't subscribed, I consider you do so. I try to put a cast out every single day and always ask for everyone's opinion on how to make these casts better and better every time. And we can see in the main bases of Team 2, we have another air factory. This is T2, but would probably see this go to T3 at some point. Lots of, again, factories going down. The air grid being built up for Team 2. We have a smaller air grid. That's more of like an assistant to the main air grid out from the player of... Again, I'm not going to be able to pronounce the name right. Khalif? Zelif? Zalif? I think it's... Maybe it's Zalif? I don't know. Again, answer down in the comments. I don't know how to pronounce that name, so I do apologize. And I also apologize. It might be difficult to read the names for Team 2, especially because it's like this kind of lightish purple on a dark background that's kind of light. It just, even for me on my screen recording right now, it's kind of hard to read that. So that doesn't help either. Anyway, back to the game. We have some ASFs kind of tussling over here in the northern section above these naval units out for Team 1. Lots of infrastructure in terms of naval factories going down in this northern pond. And again, you look at this pond, you're like, well, it's kind of big. But then when you go look at a sentence pond, you're like, wow, that's really big. Now, the sentence ponds are no joke. Like, they take up a lot of the map for that 20 by 20. To give you an idea, 20 by 20s, of course, are made up of 4 10 by 1s. You can imagine 2 of these stacked together this way, and then this way as well would make the 20 by 20. So it's a lot of map to cover for those 20 by 20s. Though these 10 by 10s are kind of like nice and intimate, and there's not, again, a whole lot of land to grab. So you got to be very strategic with placement and trying to get as much map control as you can. Well, a couple upgrades going down for Team 1. Will-O-Wisp getting a T3, and Mr. Female Dog getting a T2 upgrade on their comms. Will-O-Wisp did go for a T2 as well. Looks like Shadow, not Slato. That's a different person. Is going for T2 as well, making sure that their comm survives maybe a strap bomber rush or gunship rush, whatever the case may be. Looks like there is some assistance for Team 1 saying you need to expand your air grid. because, again, you're going to need more and more factories to pump out more and more air units. Oh, there's a Monkey Lord that's been scouted from Team 1. I have to make sure because, again, there's 2 purples on Team 1, or in the game. Team 1 is aware of the Monkey Lord. They don't really have anything to counter it in the main causeway, which is, I feel like it would go down. There's a couple of these Oblivions, but there's not really a whole lot to defend against a Monkey Lord, so they are aware of it. I mean, there's a couple point defense as well, but again, there's not a whole lot down. If that Monkey Lord finishes pretty quickly, it can probably steamroll all of Gentle's base. Team 2 looking very strong here in the southern pond. Team 2 doesn't even have, sorry, Team 1. Team 2 doesn't even have any naval factories, and they're starting to get more up all the time, but Team 1 can easily just come in, take them out, and leave. And that's just wasted mass right there. It's kind of quieted down a little bit. We have a decent amount of T1 spam being kind of just patrolling this center causeway, protecting some of these mexes. A couple of them have been taken out, and a few of them are on very low health, but they're still active, and they produce 100% of the output on 1 HP. So, you know, if you don't kill the thing, then, you know, it still does its thing at maximum efficiency. Again, not like I mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of defenses for either team, really, in this center causeway. So if Team 1 really focused down land for at least maybe a couple players, they could easily steamroll. But it doesn't look like they're going for that. They're going more for the eco game. But that doesn't really matter because Team 2 is pretty much caught up. They're almost about to eclipse 1,000 mass per second for the groups in total. But Team 2 really close. Team 1 only leading by about 15 or so mass, and I think some of that is reclaim related as well. Team 1 is being assaulted by the naval forces here in the northern pond. A lot of frigates going down. A couple of these cormorant torpedo boats trying to take out the, I would assume, the destroyers. Yeah, that'd be my point of attack. There is a couple of these Salem classes in the back as well, trying to attack from range, which is, again, a very good move. No sense in having your units take damage for no reason, pretty much. And they're able to take out a decent amount of all of this naval forces here. There's a couple destroyers and a cruiser left. Cruiser's pretty much going to die. They're pretty quick. Yep, there it goes. Do we have any movement in the southern pond? No, Team 2 has pushed all the way to the beach line for Team 2 and is starting to attack and shell the main infrastructure for the purple player of Storm. A couple of these cormorant come over the top of them, launch their torpedoes, but there's a cruiser in the mix, and those aren't going to last very long. Again, there's a huge column of Team 1 PD trying to move in on the position of Team 2. Trying to get some of these Zooey in to try to use their arcing shots. You can see the range on these things. That yellow range is pretty much how far they can shoot. They need to be about pretty much right where that Tham is. But they do not want to do that. Some of them are. Some of them are getting in. Starting to take out the resourcing options. That T2 extractor is most likely going to go down. Would like to see some gunships out from Team 2 that easily deal with this mess. They're focusing more on this Navy here in the southern pond. And there are some ASF just patrolling, but it's not going to mean a whole lot. Team 1 bombers are being used to try to deter these units, but it looks like they're going to move southward and run into a small artillery battery as well as a couple of these Cerberus as well. Missiles constantly being launched by those Governor class. Zappers just doing their best to hold the line, trying to get a better line of attack, but the amount of cover that's coming from those T2 tactical missile defenses are not going to allow anything to really get by. Another wing of cormorants coming in over top of the Navy for Team 1, and they're going to focus down probably the rest of those destroyers would be my guess, or maybe go after the torpedo boats as well. That Monkey Lord has pushed all the way to the front line, and its top laser is just out of the water to be able to take out all that infrastructure. There is a chicken as well being used to defend the shoreline. And oh, look at that gun. It's just barely out of the water. But it doesn't want to stick its head out too far. It'll be hit by that chicken. Again, lots of stuff going down here in this northern pond. Team 1 has almost been evicted. The chicken trying to do damage on that monkey lord. That monkey lord just kind of hiding on the one, being like, nah, 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 you can't touch me, nah, 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 nah. And you can see it's just trying to ground fire, trying to do anything and all damage it can, but it's not really going to matter because he is using the cover of the water to defend against any incursions. Takes out that destroyer. It's probably focused down that naval headquarters, but what's the really point? That chicken is on the retreat. It does turn around to face that monkey lord. It is weaker in terms of, well, I mean, it does have some, it has more hit points, but the monkey lord does do more damage, I think, consistently with that laser. So it's able to drop those hit points pretty quickly, especially with the assistance of these naval forces. The monkey lord does go down. That chicken does get a rank in, very crucial, especially with the bombardment coming from those naval forces. And that chicken will most likely die. The Navy out from Team 2 is still holding position in the southern... Sorry, for Team 1 is holding position in the southern pond. That chicken is going to make it out of there, but unfortunately it's not going to mean a whole lot because it's almost dead anyways. Better to just control K it in your base, reclaim it so the lightning storm doesn't occur, and just build a new chicken out of that old chicken. We have a RAS upgrade going down for Will-O-Wisp as well. Going to get that advanced resourcing option available to him. Trying to rep up his eco. His eco's now, it's still favoring Team 1, but probably just barely. We don't have the exact numbers, but only being behind by maybe 100 mass at this point in the game, about 25 minutes, isn't really a huge deal. The total mass accrued is only about 20k. I think that's almost a monkey lord, so it's not that absurd. And Team 1 is going to start reclaiming that old monkey lord from Team 2 anyway. That's going to further spread that difference apart. We have now 2 air players in the north for Team 1 trying to counter the 2 air players out from Team 2. I think we have 3 air players. So we had these lime green, and then we had white, and then we had crimson. It looks like Team 2 has prevailed, and Team 2 pretty much has air control. There's a couple ASFs still in play, but they have the majority of the air control. And again, that naval fleet out from Team 1 just holding steady, pumping more and more resources to this southern island, around the southern island here in the southern pond. Do we have anything spicy going down? There's a megalith that's been built in the southern, for the southern team of Team 2. Air grid being spammed up, of course. We have a soothsayer trying to get that intel. Very powerful unit. We have a shield generator that looked like a nuke for a second. A bug that's kind of under construction. Now it's being primaried more. Well, we do have a T3 battleship, the Galaxy class, just starting to bombard the front line of Team 1's bases. Taking out shields. Looks like there's artillery trying to be spammed up, but these power generators are going to go down. That shield is probably too late. Takes out almost all of those engineers. They try to get a reclaim order off in time, but it did not work. T3 on the way for Muetsu, and a T2 on the way for Saizolan. I think that's how you say it, Saizolan. I just have to remember. There's ASF's trying to take out all these torpedo bombers, but that's not really, again, not a lot of damage, especially with shields at this stage. It's very small air grids in the back line. I mean, Team 1 definitely leading the... Team 2 definitely leading the airfield game. We have that chicken that's just repping its hit points in main base. If that gets killed by a strat bomber, that base is going to go up like a tuna box. It's just going to evaporate and just get set on fire. There are multiple Galaxy classes on the front line for Team 2 down here in the northern pond. Team 1 firmly in control of the pond, the northern pond. We do have a megalith attacking a chicken on the beach. The chicken decides, I'm just going to run into you to deal more and more damage. And this megalord is taking a lot of megalith, taking a lot of damage. And with the assistance from those missiles from those governor class, it actually might... It is going to die, especially that ion storm. And the rest of those missiles, of course. It'd be crazy if it doesn't get it out there. Wow, it makes it out there. That's very surprising. But again, since it's almost dead, it's better to just bring it back to base, control K it, and scoop up the mass for something else, not let the enemy have the mass. Because it's not really worth it to throw like 11,000 HP megalith. I keep saying megalith for some reason. T2 and T1 spam trying to be as a distraction for this beachhead, but again, more and more defenses have been built up, and they're not going to break through that anytime soon, at least with that size force. But Team 1 on the reclaim game already have engineers moving to take that reclaim of that chicken. Very good to see. No, not giving Team 2 any time to get any of that reclaim. That chicken, that badly damaged chicken, still is on the move. We have a Galactic Colossus on the cards as well for Team 1. There's a Soul Ripper hovering over here to the northwest of this this pond over here, and it is moving into position to probably take out a lot of this infrastructure for the Royal Purple player of Witsu. The ASFs are going to see it here pretty quick. The ping is down. And this Soul Ripper does lots and lots of damage, but it's not. It's kind of hard to see given the fact of how the attack fire. But they use the Soul Ripper as bait to draw out the ASFs. That's a very good move, ensuring air dominance for Team 2. Once again, that chicken is still that Soul Ripper, that bug is still in the green, above 75% hit points. Team 2's additional ASFs come in over top. There are 3 players on Team 2 that have ASFs. 3 of the 4 remaining players are focusing air. And that gunship is going to be able to operate pretty much en masse with hardly any issues. There are some SAMs, some air defenses here for Team 1, but that Soul Ripper is going to be able to do lots and lots of damage. Ras on the way from Ritsu as well. There's not a lot of air grid here for the main air player of Team 1. And while you can see the difference in size between Team 1 and Team 2, looks like we have... Ooh, what is this? Ooh, we have a Yolana Os on the cards. Better put that away for a couple minutes later. See the progress on that. That is going to be really massive if they're able to finish that. Yolana Os is very, very powerful. Load the missiles very quickly and can take 2 SMD shots in terms of the normal 1 from, again, those SMD, those anti-nukes. Which SMDs are actually on the cards for Team 1. Wait, I saw it a second ago. Well, no, that wasn't air defense. I thought I saw it. Oh, wow. Oh, no. We also have an artillery. That's almost done. Almost sub 30 minutes. So 31 minutes for Team 1. That artillery is going to be very deadly. Team 2 does have a decent amount of shields, though. However, it looks like there has been a spotting of a disruptor for Team 2 as well. That's definitely not going to look good considering Team 1's artillery is already done. And that's probably going to start prioritizing that artillery right quick. I swear they already had SMD loaded. Maybe I looked at some... Oh, there's one right here. That's what I was looking at. I was right. Yeah, there's an SMD already constructed, and it has 1 missile already loaded. Again, that's a very good thing to have, especially sub 30 minutes. You don't want your enemies rushing nukes and catching it off guard. First shells are starting to launch, and where are they? They're headed for the air grid of the the teal player of Khalif. I think I'll say Khalif. Again, if I'm saying their name wrong, please correct me down in the comments. That's definitely a missed opportunity. They could have gone after that very exposed heavy artillery installation, that T3 installation. That's very exposed, like I mentioned. I feel like that's definitely a misplay. Do they even know that it's there before? Oh yeah, they know it's there. That formation is definitely very common in the community. You know what that is. You're gonna put artillery there. You're gonna maybe put a nuke if it was a little smaller. Like you know something's going down there. So that Soul Ripper does finally get destroyed by Team 1. Lands in the water just on the beach side. Hopefully some beach dwellers did not get crushed by that gunship crash landing into the beach. But there is a megalith on the front line for Team 2, and a lot of this firepower onto this chicken is going to diminish its hit points right quick. Already dropping into the yellow. Looks like the gunship fire is focusing on those power generators. Took out a decent amount of engineers as well, focusing the next power generator as well. Chicken tries to get under the shields, gets under the shields. Shields kind of go down, but again, angle of attack, it's able to still hit it, even though it was mostly in the shields. And that, ooh, that's not going to be good for Team 1. That chicken is going to go down almost in the main base of Gentle. And the unfortunate thing is, if you have a teammate, like friendly fire doesn't exist for your units, but it does exist for allied units. So, but that little lightning arc is not really doing anything, surprisingly. We have that Colossus is now finished. He's going to be able to take out that Megalith pretty much without issue, especially with the assistance of these shields. Looks like there was another chicken down here, but again, didn't amount to a whole lot. Took out some defenses, but there's another Megalith on the way. So Team 1, again, suffering from not a lot of defenses and ground units to effectively fight these experimentals. And Team 2 just skipping all the way to experimentals and just launching them at the enemy, seeing their weakness. Megalith does go down. That Colossus. And I can't English today for some reason. And not the last cast either. I can't English for the past couple casts. I don't know what it is. Anyway. Though that Galactic Colossus is going to go down. It might make it out in time, but I highly doubt it, especially with this battleship fire raining down from the waterfront. But it looks like it does pretty much get out of range. Megalith advances, deals with some of the defenses here on the front line for Team 1. Advanced nano upgrade going down for Sizolin. Do we have a... Okay, we do have shields over top that artillery. There isn't a whole lot other spicy things going down for Team 1. There's another chicken that just got built as well. Some gateways being built up to spam up Rascoms. Ooh, but it was able to take out a decent section of that air grid for against Team 2, so it's been effective. But unfortunately, it noticed the artillery probably a little too late, and there's already a shield. Probably should not put the strategic missile defense next to a power generator. Probably not the best idea. Second shield goes online. Third shield comes online. A couple hives are taken out, but looks like this artillery installation is going to live to see its construction completed. Well, maybe. We'll see. 34 minutes into the cast. I appreciate all of you for sticking to it so far. Thank you so much for helping me to continuously grow and get closer and closer to my goal of 250 subs. And again, at 250, I will be putting out a community post asking for everyone's suggestions on what type of games to cast. If you want to see a different game like Bar, if you have a specific replay, anything like that, please again comment on that community post. I want to provide content that you enjoy, and it's awesome when everyone in the community says, hey, there's this really cool game that I watch, I'd like for you to cast it, kind of thing. Input from everyone is greatly appreciated, whether it be about my video skills, my not having good English skills, or my mic skills, like I'm talking into a can or anything. Again, all of those things help me greatly to improve and become a better caster, better YouTuber for each and every one of you. Huge wave of torpedo bombers comes over top and just gets annihilated. Some bombs do land, but again, just a huge flight of those bombers just taken out very, very quickly. It's like they melted. But Team 1 losing a lot of their infrastructure here on this north side of their little peninsula section landmass, pretty much knocking out the Royal Purple player of Moitsu to about 54 mass. It's not a lot, especially when we're talking about the fact that Team 2 has 1.6k mass generated per second. Is it per second or per tick? I know some games are different, but anyway. And Team 1 has 1.4, and that mass differential has now switched into their favor, Team 2's favor, by about 50,000 mass. So again, not a whole lot when we're talking about millions of mass, but every little bit of advantage helps. Looks like all of these shields have capitulated. That Yolana Os is about half done. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. More and more pigeons going down. Ooh, a section of those engineers go down. A couple shields as well. Shields come back online. Those engineers have not stopped trying to build that Yolana Os, and as you can see, The bar underneath the engineer shows how close it is to being completed, regardless of the health of the actual item it's trying to build. Artillery installation still firing away. Do we see anything else being built in the back line for Team 1? We see another artillery and emissary out. I'm assuming from Gentle. He is an Aeon, so that would make sense. Air grids being spammed up. Rascom's being spammed up in the back line. Now Moitsu trying to get more and more eco, because he doesn't really have the infrastructure to have eco, to be fair. So he's still sticking into the game. Some people would have quit by this point, but again, I love it when people stay with it, even if the odds aren't really in their favor as of right now. Galactic Colossus and a chicken just eviscerating the hit points on that megalith. Look at them all. Just look at them drop. There's like 1,000 hit points pretty much a second. That slow little plasma ball comes in and takes out that megalith, dropping a decent amount of mass on the doorstep of Team 1. There's been a lot of mass dumps this game against Team 1. Team 2 is just like, yeah, we'll throw mass at the problem. That'll fix it. Which sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But Team 2 really not having any issues in the water like Team 1 is. I mean, even though Team 1 controls the southern pond, they're not really using it to their advantage. And just like kicking out the purple player of Storm. It's kind of weird to see that, especially because now they have summits and they have these Bulwark class shield boats. So, I mean, they have the infrastructure to be able to take them out, but a huge wing over the top just comes and goes. No, I don't like that. I don't like how close you're getting. Are they going to target the cruisers? They take one cruiser out. I think that was another one. They took 3. They took the boat out, the shield boat out. Took a lot of that naval force, and then more come in over the top. That summit is just going to get eaten by torpedoes. And that's probably why Team 1 isn't focusing down the base of Storm, because he has some allies that focus so many torpedoes. So it's not going to mean a whole lot. But a good thing to note, though, is that floating units on water cannot be targeted by torpedoes. So they are very good counter. Apologies for the environment trying to get in the way. Because it's not in the water, it can't be hit by torpedoes. So that's how that works. There is a megalith under the water trying to be sneaky. And artillery raining down all the time. How's that Yolana Oz doing? It's almost done. Oh wait, that's the wrong thing. It's like 75% done. There's some engineers trying to prioritize shield regeneration just to keep those shields online. It's a very good move, especially when you have artillery raining down, targeting specifically the Yolana Oz. Getting that artillery in the back line for Team 1, about half done as well. Another chicken bot almost done. Colossus standing guard underneath this shield while his boss's base capitulates to constant bombardment from these Galaxy class. A couple of them have gone down. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, a decent amount of them have gone down to a lot of these artillery installations being built up, these miasma. Again, T2 artillery, a decent counter to naval units, especially when they don't move. But again, a lot of hit points is a lot of hit points, and you gotta chew through it. You can just see all the shells raining down, dealing thousands upon thousands of damage per shell. And that one's gonna almost capitulate. Oh, that one dies. And the benefit of Cybran units and structures is they get a base regen, like an early regen at vet 1, vet 0, because everyone else, in terms of units, gets regen starting at vet level 1, first starred unit. T1 bombers, not really a huge threat, but when you have 3 chickens and a Colossus, that's kind of a threat. Not looking good for that crab over there. I want to get a nice shot of this. All these chickens hanging out by the water. Trying to go to the water, being like, "Hey, come play to the water. Come in." Looks like there's a bomb, a nuke that's going to travel overhead. Let's go ahead and check that out really quick. Looks like it came out from a strategic missile sub from Team 1. That's a very good play. In behind a lot of the anticipated travel routes. Looks like that artillery installation was not completed after all. This nuke does land, takes out all of the base of Storm Shadow, dropping his eco down to a measly 100 per second. Does have a couple of these Rascoms in the back line with a couple hives to help build up his eco. But that Yolana Oz has now been completed, and that nuke is loading as we speak. And I wonder what its first target is going to be. Probably the artillery. That's what I would guess. Oh, look. Now there's a Duke. That's a very far forward Duke. Our guns from the Navy could easily shell that position. But since Team 2 has, like, engineers in the water, and that's about it, Team 1 isn't really worried about Navy. Yeah, there is also an artillery online as well. There's a disruptor that took a hit at some point. Still kicking, though. But now Team 2 has artillery to fire back with, and of course the Yolana Oz, that experimental nuke that's going to deal massive amounts of damage. Constant bombardment from all of these torpedoes from the air. Just look at those hit points, just completely evaporating them. There's also that megalith in the back trying to chase it down. T1 bombers missed their mark, but then they turn back around and saying, no, you're not going anywhere. Yeah, then turn back around. There you go. Is this chicken going to reach it? There's a lot of strat bombers in tow. That chicken is not going to reach the main base. Ooh, that did not feel good probably for Team 1. That was a lot of strat bombers. Team 1 now knows about those strat bombers, but that doesn't feel good. No. And again, Team 1 still have all of their players. Looks like that emissary has no shields. It's alive somehow. The delayed explosion from that PGen. Oh, well, you know, I was gonna say put some shields up, like I was just about to mention, but never mind. That's why you put shields up like during the process of building and not when it's done. Because if it gets spotted, it's gonna die before it gets built anyways. There's another megalith underwater. Team 2 liking to hide their megaliths underwater. Looks like that nuke does go off. It lands against Team 1, of course, and it lands in the main naval productions in this southern pond, taking out the HQ as well as a battleship as well, and a chicken. So a very good placement of that nuke. Do apologize for missing the landing of it. Luckily, it wasn't a player dying, so that, you know, I got something going. That emissary is starting to be built once again, but the artillery is going to just continue raining fire down from the skies. Another Havatham is under construction here for Team 1. There's a Odd Washer being built as well. That Duke does finish and starts laying down fire against their enemies. Ooh, that nuke gets intercepted. How many SMD do they have? None loaded, one loaded, none loaded. There's no one right here. Three. They have enough for 2 more missiles. That's about it. I don't like how close these are all placed, because a couple strat bombers could easily take all of that out.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke comes in overhead. There's a decent amount of strat bombers. Where are they going, I wonder? Oh, I know where they're going. What I just said. These ASFs are going to act as a distraction against all of these other ASFs. Ooh, that's not gonna. You just got to attack. You gotta go for it. You gotta go for it. You've already been spotted. You can only get so far. That megalith comes in to help assist. Distracts the chicken, trying to deal as much damage as they can. Some of the shields are down. Bombs overhead. They take out 1, 2, all of the SMD for the UEF player of Mr. Female Dog. There's still 2 nukes in the clip back here, but unfortunately they lost the rest of their reserves, so they're going to have to rebuild them. And that is the downside with putting all of your SMD in pretty much one location. And specifically where 1 bomb could kill 2 of them. Not really a good placement there. Looks like Team 1's starting to fight back in the Navy, taking out a lot of that forces being built up again along that beach line. But all this Zooey spam is just very annoying for them as well. Nuke coming in again. Let's see if they are able to land it this time. There are again 2 nukes in the... Ooh! One from this forward all the way one... What was it? This one?
Strategic launch.
So there's another one in the back line for Team 1. And there's another nuke. This time out from Team 1, it looks like. All the way in the back. Just a regular nuke. Just a regular Apocalypse. Strategic missile launcher. The names for those missile launchers are very important. You have the Stone Ager, Apocalypse, and then there's... What's the Cybern one? I forget what it's called. It'll probably come to me at some point. But I feel like this is kind of a waste. The Team 1 factories, yeah, they're producing frigates, but that's about it. Another nuke is launched. At least that one's prettier than the UEF nuke for sure. It's just not just like some very dull fireball. It's like a wave. 2 more SMD are used. It looks like a third one was launched, maybe? I saw it too, but I thought I saw a third one as well. That does happen once in a while where a third SMD fires a missile and it ends up using up 3 or 2 versus the normal 1 or 2 that it should use. There's another, like, just constantly nukes being launched, and just keep saying the name of the channel, please, announcer. It's one of the reasons why I named my channel what I did, because I'm like, I like that notification, and I'm going to use that as my channel name. That nuke is most likely going to land. I don't see any SMD that have anything in the clip. Yeah, there's really nothing in the clip anymore, unfortunately, for Team 1. Helvethams, all washers being built, and they really edged this nuke out. Look at this thing. Just on. Is it going to land on the cliff? It does land on the cliff. The only thing I don't like about the nuke is the fact that the explosion effects happen decently above the land. Not like it's on the ground. I know it's a slow kind of expanding nuke, and I understand why from this perspective, but when you're trying to look at it from like a cinematic view, it's really hard to like get that ring, that aura effect going on. Is Team 2 prioritizing just launching all of those YOLOs? And what's ironic is earlier on, Team 2's players said that Team 1 had the advantage, but it looks like the advantage has now shifted in favor of Team 2. Team 1 either needs to kill the YOLO or kill the player of Khalif. Looks like that next nuke was shot down. There's an odd washer that has been constructed. There's one that's almost going to be constructed as well. That'll give them 2 of them. 2 of those experimental bombers. Very effective in the skies. Very cool design. Like an arrowhead kind of shape. Made its way all the way to the bottom of the map. It isn't escorted, unfortunately, and that might be a problem. They should have waited for both of them to group up to make sure they can actually get there. Looks like they're waiting. That's good as well. ASF's coming into screen to ensure that at least some protection does get afforded them. And looks like they're going straight for that Yolana Oz. This one should have grouped up more and make sure both of those bombs land, because they're going to prioritize the first washer. And does it get its bomb off? It does not get its bomb off. The crash damage does not mean a whole lot since they nerfed it. It doesn't even kill any of that. The bomb doesn't even go off. The bomb does not go off from the Awasher. Takes out a couple mass fabricators, but that literally is just a mass dump of about 50... I'd say 50,000 mass for Team 2. That's definitely a misplay out from Team 1. Should have had those ASFs come in a little bit farther ahead. Should have grouped up that another washer as well. Just kind of had it coast along the edge of the map here and bomb the YOLO. But now, that was probably one of their last attempts to pull it back. There's another Helvetham being built. See, like right there, 3 nukes can land on that one as well. And I think it's just because they enter the area so quickly that it just can't detect. Oh, one of them has already been fired. A counter nuke has been launched from that strategic missile submarine again. Is it going to land? Another nuke landed, launching from that YOLO. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this... Oh, it does land. That's very surprising. It does edge it out, though. Takes out 1 air factory and a pigeon. Not really worth the nuke. Or the mass that it was printed on, I should say. Because energy is a dime a dozen. That's not really the costly thing. The mass is the limiting factor in this game. Mass is harder to come by and harder to generate. Chicken trying to retreat from that lightning storm. Would like to see it take out the rest of that PD as well. Unnecessary damage on that thing. More and more shells land from artillery from both sides. Another nuke has been launched for Team 2. There's a Monkey Lord being used at defense for the southern side. Storm Shadow reestablishing his original base down here as well. Just like Team 1's kind of just in disarray. They don't really have one plan. I felt like the Odd Washers that they built were their main plan. They are building another one, but they're also trying to build a hub at them and trying to do a lot at one time. It doesn't really work. Considering the fact, again, more and more nukes are being launched. You need that energy, you need that mass to produce those nukes. Those anti-nukes specifically. And you just don't have enough resources to do everything that you want to do. So it definitely is the scales are starting to shift in Team 2's favor. You know, all the time. There's a Continental being used to deliver engineers to the front line to start scooping up mass. I like that play. Reduce the travel time and increase your mass gains. As well, at least increase the time that you get the mass. Or decrease, not increase. You know what I mean. You know, artillery just trying to land, trying to do as much as it can, and pretty much you have engineers scooping up mass and then funneling it into that nuke. And it's just the fact that neither of those bombs were released are definitely disheartening to Team 1. We have a disruptor also almost constructed for Team 2 as well. So they're just continuing trying to end the game as quickly as possible. Because again, the more time you give your enemy to attack, the more things you have to destroy or get through. Now you have 2 Hoverthams built for the comm of Will-O-Wisp. But one of Team 1's players, Saizalan's main base is starting to fall. Artillery installations, P-gens, shields, just everything starting to fall. Another nuke comes out from that Apocalypse strategic missile launcher from the white player of Bastolomé Monidas. That nuke is going to land against a decent amount of these Galaxy class. Let's see how many of them die. Wow, it takes out all of them. That is a perfectly placed nuke. Takes out those aircraft carriers as well. That'll severely reduce the incoming fire on this from this northern pond. That was a very well placed nuke, sir. But unfortunately, that might not amount to a whole lot, considering the fact that Yolana Os is still built and still firing nukes every so often. You also have to worry about, does one of the players on Team 2 just telemaser? But the downside with that is if they die, all the stuff dies with them as well. So they're probably going to be less inclined to do that. That's one of those like latch ditch efforts that you do when you don't have any infrastructure realistically left. Looks like the artillery from Team 2 trying to target the air grid here in the back line. And more ASFs appearing on the front line. I don't know where they're going. You have those Monkey Boy trying to shoot as much as it can. Huge grouping of ASFs down here in the south. Looks like there is an air fight going to happen on the cards. That is a very bad turn for Team 1. More ASFs come in to try to attack. Oh, this is definitely a bloodbath. Those ASFs out from the orange player of Amon-Ra should come in and assist. And they're going to. There's a couple strat bombers in the mix that just, well, one of them just died. Oh, it looks like there was an incursion from Team 1. A couple of these RAS comms, again, not going to have a whole lot of firepower on them. Bomb comes out from the orange player of Amon-Ra trying to take them out. And that is all she wrote. Looks like they took out a couple P-gens. That was about it. They did not get close enough to take out the Yolana Os. In good play, just you needed like Rambo comms or something, not RAS comms. But we understand Team 1 is desperate. They need some sort of advantage. They need some sort of win on the books. But it looks like, again, as time goes on, more and more mass gets funneled into Team 2's coffers. more and more resources and options become available to them. More artillery, more nukes, more everything, and it just makes it that much harder for Team 1 to mount a comeback. They were, again, leading the game fairly early on. They took 2 players out, but what happens is when you take players out early on, it gives other players more resources to use, which pretty much supercharges them, allowing them to output structures and units that they would normally not be able to in that time. There's another Obwasher on the cards for Team 1. I feel like this isn't going to amount to a whole lot. It's going to be 3 for 3 if this doesn't do a whole lot, and it's going to be very disappointing if it does not. Considering there's, again, not a whole lot of ASFs for either team. I mean, there's probably like 50 or 60 and maybe 30 or so for Team 1. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot of focus on air. There's mainly a focus on just artillery and game ender stuff. One anti-nuke comes out. Okay, another one comes out. Takes out that nuke. There's another nuke that's launched where from that strategic missile submarine. That guy is paying his dues. Like, he is well worth the time investment. 131,000 mass killed. Now where is this going? Is this one going to take out the naval grid of Team 1 in the northern pond? Yep, it is, and it's going to deal all it can. There's another Aswasher. I just saw it on the cards. It died. Did it try to like land on the comm and kill him? I don't. It didn't seem like it had a lot of hit points left. Or it seemed like it had a lot of hit points left. Excuse me. Again, the crash damage was nerfed, so just crashing down on the comms and killing it doesn't really work unless you have a lot of them. And that's another disappointing experimental bomber. That's 3 of 3 of disappointment. But these Cybran experimentals wreaking havoc on these Seraphim defenses. The shield has fallen, and a lot of them are starting to fall. There is a chicken underneath shield coverage. It's going to take out this megalith, and it will probably be able to take out that monkey lord here pretty quick. But again, Team 1 just being hemmed into a corner more and more as time goes on. And they're able to, deal a decent amount of losses here against Team 2. Or damage, I should say. But then Team 2 just builds it right back up and throws it at the enemy again. And the loss of their naval factories will definitely reduce the amount of naval forces they can produce. But Team 2 already has the northern pond. It's not really going to matter. I do like the fact that Amon-Ra has switched production up to these T1 bombers, being able to actually target these T2 units, going after the anti-air first to make sure that he has full air control and nothing firing back at him. But there is a Monkey Lord in defense as well, just to ensure nothing gets by that line. Another nuke is launched, and 1-8. That anti-nuke was very close. It was almost about to miss it, honestly, but it got it just in the nick of time. We're at the 57-minute mark. Again, it's kind of starting to look like Team 1's just on the back foot for about the last 10, 15 minutes. That nuke is not going to stop firing. It just isn't. So that's Team 1's main target is to focus fire anything and everything they have. Multiple comms leaving the area. It might just be the end of days for them. That SMD is almost destroyed. Just more and more artillery raining down as time goes on. That nuke is about to fly overhead of the main base. One nuke goes off, or one anti-nuke goes off. That's not going to be enough, and this nuke will land, taking out 2 comms. Boom. That's 2 comms that were shot by 1 nuke. You can see the delayed explosions of all of them. That means all of their infrastructure goes down with them as well, leaving only 4 players for Team 1. It's the first time they've lost players, and they lost 2 at the same time at the 58-minute mark. Definitely a severe loss for Team 1. Trying to still build that emissary. They have shields now, but they don't really have a lot of energy to regen them fast enough. That artillery getting pretty close to all those engineers. Looks like production has stopped, and Team 1 recalls. making this a win for Team 2. That, again, a third one gets launched to help deter that nuke. Thank you so much for watching. Again, Team 1 was winning early on, but due to the loss of those players down here in the south, Team 2 was able to supercharge and just not steamroll, but like slowly but surely whittle down everything that Team 1 had. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you made it to the end of the video, please, again, like, comment down below what your favorite moment was, or what do you think my voice, my gameplay, what I can do better. I've been trying to reduce the drawing tool because some people have mentioned it's a little too much, so hopefully it's reduced to like a good amount where it's just more tactical versus just constantly circling units, that kind of thing. So again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.